Hey guys, Tim with Two Feathers Survival. I know what you're thinking. You're sick, get to the doctor, you probably have an infection that's now impacting your brain because you're underneath the hood of a vehicle and you don't know how to do anything underneath there. And you're absolutely right. Why am I underneath here? Read several books, and if you've watched shows like Dual Survival, you watch shows like Survivor Man with Les Stroud, a lot of times they'll go into an area by way of a conveyance or a vehicle, whatever that vehicle is. And then once they're there, they are kind of at their mercy at that point. Well, one of the things that a lot of people don't think about doing because they just don't want to do it, things like motor vehicles are riddled with parts, things, kits. Hopefully you have a survival kit in the vehicle. Hopefully you have everything that you already need in there. But if you don't, think strongly about cannibalizing that vehicle that brought you to that location, no matter what type of vehicle that is. Well, why did I open a video about how to make fire with potassium permanganate with a vehicle? Well, because something in the vehicle is something that I can utilize with the potassium to actually make that exothermic reaction occur, and that is the brake fluid that's inside the motor vehicle. If I utilize the brake fluid or any glycerin-based component from the vehicle, I can then, if I can source potassium, if I don't have it in my backpack already, or hopefully I've brought it with me, because it actually does three things for you, which that's one of the rule of threes that you need to consider. If I have that, now I know how to go ahead and use the glycerin from the brake fluid to start a fire. So that's why I'm opening up today's video underneath the hood of my truck. Stay with me, guys. Again, this is Tim with Two Feathers, and look forward to getting this episode started. See you soon. All right, guys, so with the potassium permanganate, and probably going to have to get Fido here away here in a second. If this is something that I have in the bag, I can do a lot of different things with this. Not only can I use it for fire lighting, but I can also use it to purify water. I can use it to make a wound disinfectant. So again, my big word of caution with potassium permanganate is it stains like crazy. If you saw on the Facebook page the other day, one of my friends actually made that comment. He actually utilizes potassium permanganate in a water utility style setting for an industrial purpose. And he said, hey Tim, cool stuff, but yeah, just it does stain like crazy. And he's absolutely right. It does stain absolutely like crazy. If you want purple hands, here's a good way to do it. Probably should have gloves on. I'm going to try to be very careful with this. So I'm going to show you the first thing here, move the water out of the way. That'll be our next experiment. Put a little bit of this down right here in front of this stick. Make sure that we're in frame here. Doesn't take much. Set that back here. Make just a bit of a divot here at the top for the glycerin. And I'm going to let this kind of run in real time here. Sometimes, depending on the type of potassium that you have and how strong your glycerin is, you'll get a real quick reaction, or you're going to get a very slow reaction. Potassium is a very strong oxidizer. So I'm just going to let that sit there and kind of work in for a second. And again, depending on the strength of the materials that you have, this is either going to go off quickly or it's going to take about a minute or so to kind of go off. While we're waiting for this to start its reaction, the thing that you'd want to have ready to go with this is all of your dry tinder, all of your basic fire lighting necessities that you would use for any other style of procurement of fire, whatever that is. So as long as I have all that ready to go, then you got the triangle met to make fire. So as you see, this reaction didn't just take right off like some of them do. What we can do, kind of introduce just a little bit of air into this. Like I said, it is an oxidizer. You'll see here in a second, it should start to kind of boil. Still waiting on that. There we go. See, it's starting to boil. What this will do is then ultimately kind of dry all that out as the heat and the reaction continues to take place. And you'll see a smoke starting right now, and the flame will be coming through in just a second. Right there's your flame. So as long as I have all my other components of my fire lighting there and ready, well, then I've got an easy way to start fire. If the reaction is slow like this one was, and it can be varied by a lot of different things, don't worry, just be ready for when it actually does occur. So there's fire by potassium permanganate. Again, I used glycerin with that. The brake fluid out of a motor vehicle, if that's all that you had, or you found a bottle of brake fluid, that's another way to do it. That's a glycerin-based lubrication system. Anything that's glycerin-based, which would also be a lot of car components, then I can utilize that to start this reaction. So, what we're going to do now, I'll move my wood out of the way, move these out of the way for a second. Just brush this aside. As you see, this has kind of turned into a very hard, almost charcoal style material. Move that out of the way. And now we'll go ahead, bring our 2 glasses of water back up. Don't need the glycerin anymore for this part of it. All right, change this a little bit here. There we go. Okay, tap water right out of the faucet here. So obviously that is a safe to drink thing. Not too much that we'd have to worry about there. So potassium permanganate, the amount that you need is extremely small. I'll show you the color that you should look at first. Let's get just a tiny, tiny little amount here. You should see inside that container, and that was basically about what I could get on the last little piece of a pine needle. Just a couple small grains. That purple, get that to mix around here in a little bit. That purple is kind of what you're looking for this. That's actually a bit strong. Stir this around here a little bit. You see that you have a very, very light pink. Try to block out some of the light there in the back. It's a very, very light pink tinge in the water. That would be good for a standard container size, and again, it was only 1 or 2 small grains of crystal to utilize that to purify water. Now, there's a lot of places overseas that you buy this stuff on a regular basis, and you utilize that to make sure that your water is actually pure. Some of the waters in other countries aren't like what we have here in the States. So as you see, again, here's kind of clear. Here's that light shade of pink. That, after about 30 to 45 minutes, would be okay to utilize for drinking water. It doesn't get all of the particulates out, but it gets a good majority of them. Let's see here. I found another little small piece of a twig. Grab a little more. So what I'm going to do now is up the strength just a little bit. And again, this is only going to be adding in just a few small grains. Don't get nearly much on there. Not getting the amount that I need here. Bear with me for 1 second. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but there's just a very light amount of grains there. Put those in. What I'm looking to do now is make this a little bit of a deeper shade of purple. As you see, it's gotten a bit darker. Use my stick stirrer here and we'll kind of mix all this up. Show you again here. See how that's gotten to be a darker purple? I don't know if this helps or not. I guess you can see it good. Regular tap water, bit darker shade of purple. That, and even a bit stronger, would be a good wash if you've got some sort of a topical abrasion. Notice I didn't say deep cut. If you got a deep cut, utilize a different method. If you've got some sort of a, like a road rash type of a thing, just a small dermal abrasion where you're worried about bacterial infection setting in, you've scuffed yourself on a questionable rock, anything like that, where you could have some bacteria living there, you can make up an antiseptic wash with potassium permangate and utilize that as a medicinal style of remedy. So, good thing about potassium permangate is this. This is something, and this is a question that you should ask yourself about everything that's in your bag. Does it do more than one thing? If the answer is yes, the next question is, can it do at least 3? And here we have a prime example of something that can do 3. I've got something that can purify water. I can use it medicinally, which is my second source. And my third source also would be, I can utilize this as a fire lighting component if I'm really in dire circumstances. And that would be adding something that's glycerin based to it. So, quick demonstration today on the use of potassium permangate. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. Look forward to getting some more videos up for you very soon. I'm starting to feel a bit better, so hopefully I can get back to a little bit more of an aggressive filming campaign for you guys. Until next time, this is Tim with Two Feather Survival, wishing you all to keep your knife sharp, keep your go bags close, and have a great day, everybody. See you soon.